Good day, good evening, good afternoon for those who are in the US, good evening for those who are in the UK and Nigeria, and good day to everybody everywhere else in the world that you are. We've been having a conversation for 2 days now. Today makes the third day. We're talking about financial intelligence lessons, things I wish I knew at 20. And I tell people that the day you wake up is the day that your morning begins. That if you have not become familiar with all of these thoughts, then it's a good time to be. I have been teaching on financial intelligence for the last 12 years. I've been interacted with over 250,000 people in over 12 different countries in the last 12 years teaching on financial intelligence. I've been to churches, I've been to schools, I've been to companies, I've organized events, I've been all over the place, basically teaching things that people need to know so that they can become financially free. And it's been an interesting exercise. I always try to do a test everywhere I go so that I can get a feel for how people understand what people understand about their finances and how they can begin to make the necessary adjustments to live the kind of life that they need to live. And in my going around, I've observed the kind of how aware people are. I've seen that one of the biggest problems people have in their marriages is finance. One of the things that causes the biggest amount of stress and depression is finance. And that if you don't understand how to play your financial game well, then you can get yourself into a lot of trouble and be unable to afford the basic things you need for a normal life. So I have shared this because I feel that it is a learnable skill. I believe that everybody can achieve phenomenal things financially if they know exactly what to do. And I like to share a particular story that I've fallen in love with. I share this story from time to time in different places. It's a story of a young man who once told the villagers in his town that he had found a secret. And they asked him, what secret is this? He said, I found the secret of how to walk on water. And all the villagers laughed at him. And they said, how can you walk on water? What kind of secret is that? It's not possible to walk on water. If you have read a little bit about how water works, if you have read a little bit about chemistry, physics, and all the sciences, you must understand that it is impossible to walk on water. And this man said, no, I can walk on water. And I don't have time for all these rhetorics. Can I show you? And the whole village was stunned. You really want to show us that you can walk on water? Okay, set the date. If you set the dates, we're going to be there. Let's see you walk on water. And then they set the day, and all the villagers gathered together in front of the village river. And they were looking at this young man, ready to make a fool of him. And then on the D day, all the television stations, all the radio stations, all the publicity units gathered together in this particular village. They had announced to people in town, come and see this person who wants to shame himself by showing us that he can walk on water. And everybody gathered together, and this man took the first step in the water, and everybody was looking at him suspiciously. Of course, we know how the riverbed is. It is shallow on the first end, and then it goes deeper. Continue, they shouted. And the man took the next step. And then, of course, they felt, okay, still shallow. And before they knew what was happening, the man jumped and began to leap across the water, marching on the water and bouncing off the water and jumping on the water and bouncing off the water. And he ran all the way across the river, and the whole village went ballistic. They began to clap and shout, it's a miracle, it's wonderful, it's amazing. And this man who people were sitting down and watching apprehensively to see his show of shame became a celebrity in broad daylight. They couldn't believe their eyes. Everybody was stunned beyond belief. Everybody was excited that, wow, this man walked on water. And then all the pressmen covered him, all the people came around him, and the man who they wanted to make fun of became the celebrity that they were all asking questions. How do you do it? What exactly do you do? How did you walk on water? And the man smiled and shook his head and said, you know what? Everybody in this village can walk on waters. And they said, you told us you could walk on waters, we didn't believe you. Now you are saying that everybody in the village can walk on waters. What exactly is going on here? And the man smiled. And he said, everybody in this village can walk on waters if they know where the stones are. Ladies and gentlemen, he didn't walk on water. What he had done was he had studied that river, identified where all the stones were, and what he did before their eyes was jump from stone to stone without missing a step. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody can walk on water if they know where the stones are. In life, this life is like a riverbed. Okay, if there's any location that anybody has made it from point A to point B before, anybody else can go from point A to point B if they know where the stones are. The stones that are under the riverbed of life are principles, they are laws, They are strategies. If you understand them, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter your pedigree or your degree. It doesn't matter your history. It doesn't matter where, where you grew up, how you grew up, how wealthy you are, how wealthy you are not. If you know where the stones are, you also can walk on water. And in this journey of finances, I realized that this is a very teachable, learnable skill. I learned the skill. I implemented the skill. I have walked on some water in my own way, and I'm here to gist with you today about exactly where the stones are. And we've identified a few keystones. The first keystone we identified was the fact that there is financial intelligence. It's a different kind of intelligence from academic intelligence, from social intelligence, from spiritual intelligence, from all the variations of intelligence that you have. Some people say that there's people here, there's auditory, people learn with their, with VAC, visuals, audio, kinesthetic. There are many ways to learn, and there are different kinds of intelligences. The intelligence that allows you to be able to interact with money correctly is called financial intelligence. And this intelligence, unfortunately, is not taught in the schools. It's not a curriculum course. It's not a special elective. It is something that, unfortunately, many people get to pick up on the streets, or pick up from mentors, or pick up from books. Okay, that is interaction. And one of the things I've realized is even the mentors that are not literate, okay, even the mentors that are not literate in English language, all think and operate around the same principles if they are wealthy. So there's a thought pattern, there's a paradigm with which you look at money. If that wealthy people look at money, that unifies them even when education does not unify them. So we realize that there's an intelligence called financial intelligence, and it's an intelligence that you need to invest in. You need to invest in being knowledgeable. You need to invest in knowing exactly how does finance work. And the first thing we identified day before yesterday was realize that where many of us get it wrong is that we have the wrong goals. Okay, we have the wrong goal. So the one critical stone in this riverbed of life is set the right goal. Set the right goal. I like that concept of setting a goal. When somebody says something is set, it means it has been formed in a particular way. If you take a clay pot and you set it, it means you have formed it in a particular way. You have allowed it to solidify in that way, and there is no choice anymore. It will continue to go in that way. So when you set your goal, it means you are goal bound. You have put something before you that you have gone in for. Your direction is very clearly set in the direction of what your goal is. You will end up there. Now, many of us set the wrong goals financially, and that's why we don't achieve financial freedom, because financial freedom was never really our goal. So the very first thing we identified that you need to work on and set aright in this journey is recognize that your goal is not financial security. Your goal ought to be freedom. Why? Because when you are free, it means you have created a system. You have built a system of pipes that ensures that you are earning money residually, that even when you no longer have the strength to work, there is passive income coming in for you that can take care of your living expenses. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know anybody here who wants to be working as hard as they were working at 30 when they are 70. Of course, nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to have a projection in their life where there's a season where you are in your prime, where you work hard and you drive hard, and there must be a season in your life where you are not driving as hard, not working as hard, but you are also still generating value. Now, if that will become your reality, if that is something that will become how you want to live, then what must you do? You must ensure that you have a system in place that can assure you of passive income. So the very first thing we identified is I need to set my goal aright. I need to set my goal correctly and recognize that my goal is not financial security. My goal is freedom. And I'm going to ask you a question today just to reinforce this. Let's imagine for a minute that you are listening to me today and this is your reality. You are earning enough passive income that can take care of your living expense. It means you have built systems, and I'm going to talk about those assets today. You have built the assets, you have built the systems, there's passive income coming in for you. You do not need to work anymore. Money is coming in for you, and the money coming for you on a monthly basis can take care of your normal expenses. Now, the average family possibly has running expenses in the neighborhood of 400,000, 500,000, let's even say 1 million naira per month. So let's say, for example, your passive income is 4 million naira per month, which is about 4 times what you need to spend on a monthly basis. So if you're earning 4 million naira as your passive income on a monthly basis, and you are free from all your financial worries. You want to go on vacation, you can go. You want to take care of your children, you can. You want to live your normal basic life, you can. You have no other external responsibilities, or your responsibilities are covered under 1 million, and you are earning 4. What will you be doing with your life? Okay, what will you be doing with your life and your energy? I'd like you to answer that question today. What will you be doing if money was not a worry? What will you be doing with your life if you have discovered a way to ensure that you are earning enough passive income to take care of your living expense? What will you spend your energy doing? Will you be, involved in education? Will you be involved in orphanages? Will you be helping the poor? Will you be doing something? What exactly? Type it there in the window. What exactly will you spend your time and your life doing if you knew that you did not have money worries? Okay, I'd like to see your answers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, usually the kind of answers I hear from people, somebody said NGO. Okay, this person will commit their energy to an NGO. Somebody will say, I want to, I'll be giving free loans to people. I won't charge them interest. Somebody says, I will give scholarships for people that want to go to school. Somebody says, I will start up an orphanage and take children off the streets. Somebody says, I will take care of the elderly. Somebody will say, I will invest in a library. We'll do different beautiful projects. Support for school children. There are many beautiful things that we're going to ensure is done the moment we realize, the moment it becomes our reality, that, guess what? I do not need and become financially free. I do not need to work in order to be able to, to sustain my lifestyle. Now, the reason why we're not doing these things, okay, the reason why we're not doing this today, why? Is because we are financially bound. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get some things plugged here, just in case I need it. It's called planning ahead, essentially. Okay, so I can see the answers we're giving. I think they are very interesting answers. Good. Good. Okay, excellent. So build other people's home, invest in teaching people, helping the poor, voluntary service, community service, tour the world on a boat cruise, went on holidays. I will commit my energy to taking children off the streets. Phenomenal things. Why are we not doing these phenomenal things? Let me see what people are saying on the Facebook channel. Mentoring people. Excellent. Somebody says they will mentor people, empower people to be independent, not to be dependent. Amazing. Okay, these are some of the things that people are saying. Adewale says, I want to, empower people not to be independent. Oluwafumi says, mentoring people. Okay, we're going to do phenomenal things. Okay, these are the kind of things we will do if we were financially free. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are not doing these things because we are not free. Our financial freedom is what is chaining our hands and preventing us from living in the fullness of these realities. It means that if we are free, we will do phenomenal things. So your first one of the first rock in that river of life is knowing that it's financial intelligence. I need to invest in it. And I tell people, if you are ever going to be serious about a topic, if you are serious about a topic, you must have read enough about that topic equal to your own age. Okay, so if you are serious about financial freedom, then read finance books, okay, that are equal to your age. If you are serious about parenting, read parenting books that are equal to your age. If you are serious about selling, read selling books equal to your age. Invest sufficiently in what you want to develop expertise in, invest significantly in it. So said, one, your goal is not security, your goal is freedom. You must be building a system. You must be involved in building a system. And today, I'm going to pause on that system and explain to you the systems that you can build. But before we went too far, we also realized that many things we call assets are not assets. Now, for something to be called an asset, if I am thinking as somebody who wants to become financially free, I must be thinking in a line that makes me recognize that assets must yield me passive income. Assets must yield me passive income. Okay, I need to get passive income from whatever I call an asset. Yes, I will have things that I will do that will give me capital gains. I need to grow my capital, and then I need to now cost my capital to work for me and become like soldiers who bring me captives. And those captives are passive income. So I need to build in this way. So I must recognize what exactly will I call an asset. Do I call an asset what the bank calls an asset, or do I call an asset what is able to yield me passive income? I must redefine my concept of assets and begin to look at assets at what is able to yield me passive income. Yesterday, we also spelled out very clearly that money is not the most important thing. The most important thing is not how much you earn, is how much is left. It's not how much you earn, is how much is left. And let me do a quick exercise in this room today. If somebody will oblige me, let's do a quick exercise here today. I minus E, we said I minus E equals C. That means income minus expense equals cash flow. If you are in the house today, I'd like you to answer this and answer this sincerely. When you subtract your expense from your income, the answer you get, is it positive or is it negative? So I'd like you to type in that window plus or minus depending on your reality. You can type positive or negative depending on your current reality. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we know our current reality because we can make it to any destination we want to make in this life by first of all identifying where we are and then taking crucial steps to head in the direction that we want to go. It is important that you are able to draw and say, this is where I am, and then this is where I'm going. To qualify for help, you must know where you are and where you're going. If you ask for help before you know where you are, the people that are trying to help you will help you wrongly. If you ask for help before you know where you're going, the people that are trying to help you will not help you correctly. I tell people every destination you want to go to in this life is legitimate, but there is a step after where you are that may not be the ultimate. I'll explain that. I tell people my house currently is somewhere in Ikeja. If I get out of my house right now and I cross over to the street, okay, and I stop a taxi and I tell the taxi on my street I want to go to Brooklyn, what should the driver do? If I go out of my house and I say I want to go to Brooklyn, what should the driver say? The driver should tell me something nasty like, are you all right? Yeah? The driver should look at me and tell people, if I'm the driver and somebody stops me, I'm driving Uber, and somebody stops me on Allen Avenue and says Brooklyn, I'm going to park in front a little bit, use my rear view mirror to check his shoes, because usually when something is wrong with people, I hear that it starts from the shoes. Okay, I will see if he's still wearing his shoes, because if madness has really climbed him, he must first of all remove the shoes. If he has not removed the shoes, I will check the shoes. If the shoes look polished, then I may be making a mistake. So I allow him to approach me. I'll wind down. I won't wind down too much. Why? I want to hear what he's going to say. And then say, I want to go to Brooklyn. I say, which Brooklyn? He says Brooklyn now is the name of a hotel. I say, okay, enter inside. But if he says, I want to go to Brooklyn in New York, then we have a real problem. Is there anything wrong with Brooklyn? No. Brooklyn is a legitimate destination. But is there something wrong with asking for Brooklyn on Allen Avenue? Yes. Everything is wrong with asking for Brooklyn on Allen Avenue. Why? Because the journey he needs to take before he begins to go to Brooklyn is far. He first of all needs to get a bus to take him to the airport. So when he gets a taxi that takes him to the airport, he needs to ensure that he has a passport. He needs to ensure that he has an American visa. He needs to ensure that he has a ticket to go to New York. It's only when he has accomplished those preliminary steps that he can now demand and say, I want to go to Brooklyn. Every destination is legitimate, but maybe not from where you are. That where you are today will define if your next goal will be freedom. So today as well, we're going to access where we are. And once we have accessed where we are, we can now define this is what you need to do next. Okay, we're going to have a very preliminary checkup. If you're going to have the real full health checkup, then we probably need to connect in another meeting where I can show you how the full checkup works and what it tells you about your financial possibilities. But we said it is how much you have left that's important. And I can see some people positive, some people negative, some people positive, some people negative. That's the way life is. Some people are positive, some people are negative. That's the way that it is. Okay, but it's when you know where you are that you know, okay, I need to adjust this. This is not how I want to be. This is not where I want to stay. This is not my reality. This is not what I want my reality to be. Now, your goal is freedom. Assets must be reclassified. Okay, I need to have cash flow. And once I have cash flow, what I will do about my cash flow, I can determine, I can redefine how I operate my cash flow towards my goal. My goal is freedom, so my cash flow must be used for freedom. I must know where I am in that equation. So we're going to have that discussion about where you are today. I will spend a little time about where you are, and then I will define assets, and I will give you my recommendations on what you can do. If you are still in the house and you're listening and it's making sense to you so far, just type in that type in that window, I am following. Just say I'm following as I begin to get the slides that I want to share with you so that I can see how this works. Say, I am following. I am following. Okay, great to see that you're following. I want to share something with you and I'll take it from here. I call it a process flow map. Copyrights mine. Okay, so I'm sure you can see the table that I have in front of you there. I like us to have this very, very exciting, interesting conversation. This is to help you begin to navigate correctly. 2020, you may have heard that there's recession. Don't be moved, don't be shaken. There are people who have encountered recessions. Some of the biggest businesses in the world today were built in recessions, so nothing is lost. Okay, you can maximize this season. You can make phenomenal things happen despite where you are. You don't have a problem at all. Okay, so I have before me here 9 steps. I have 9 steps before me, and I'd like you to look at these 9 steps and pay critical attention. I'm going to be going off and on this. I can spend 20 hours on this page. Okay, so I'd like you to just follow me in this particular journey and follow. So there are 9 steps here. Okay, and I'll show you. There are a few things that are not shown here that I will still show you. But let's follow this. Step 1 is the one that says I is less than E. So if your answer to is your income, when you subtract your expense from your income, if your answer is negative, you are at step 1. Okay, you are at step 1. Step 1 means I am earning less than I'm spending. I already have a built-up expense profile. My income does not, my income cannot carry my expenses. When my month ends, my salary ends before my month ends, and there's a lot of month left at the end of the month that money does not reach. That means I am at step 1. Step 2 is the reality where my income and my expense are almost exactly matched, meaning I am not having financial pressures or stress. I am basically able to ensure I can service all my expenses, but I don't have much left. I have money in my account, but I don't have savings. I really cannot afford to save. If that is your reality, your income is at par with your expense, there is no much extra spread around there, you are in step 2. Already, please, if you're in the window today, type, are you in step 1? If you're in step 1, if you're in step 2, type 2, so that we begin to see where we fall. Step 3 says my income is greater than my expense. My income is greater than my expense, but whatever I have left, I am still using it like my income because I don't have an escrow account. I am not creating cash flow. I am earning well. I am spending less, but something just comes after 3 months and packs away all my extra savings. I am not saving for an asset. I'm not putting it in an escrow. I'm not putting it away from me. The money is still accessible to me, and I find myself going back to spend what I thought I had saved. It means I am earning and I have surplus, but I am still spending it, because something comes up, my car has a problem, I take it from there and I service it. I have an issue, I take it from there and I service it. My income is greater than my expense, but what is left is I still spend it. I still take it as income and it still gets spent. If you are living this way, then you are in step 3. Okay? And if you're in 3 in the house, you can type 3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in step 1, 2, or 3, this is what you need to do. You need to increase your income. At these levels, you need to increase your income. Here, I tell people step 1 to 3 is a step where you need to make money. You need to make it. You need to increase your income. You need the psychology of wealth creation. You need to understand the dynamics of how money works, because guess what? It doesn't respond to purely hard work. It doesn't respond to purely late nights. Those things are useful elements that can help you create wealth. There's a thinking behind wealth creation. There's an operational dynamic around wealth creation. And that is why somebody who is truly wealthy can go broke and he can recreate it again, because he thinks in a certain way, because he operates in a certain way, or she operates in a certain way, or thinks in a certain way. And what I want you to be able to get in this place is to be such a person that no matter the kind of adversity you face, no matter the kind of challenges that you face, you are internally built so that whatever is happening to you, you can withstand it and you can start again. The reason why I tell people something, somebody says, I need 10 million naira to start my business. No, start your business small. Because when you start it small, if it crashes, when it crashes, because in life, the storms is not an if whether the storms will come, it is when the storms will come. There must always be storms. Every growth will be challenged. Every progress will be challenged. Every time you make a headway, something will come to challenge it. The biggest companies in the world have suffered mighty setbacks. The reason why they are standing is because they have learned to survive tough times, because tough times don't last, but tough people do. So guess what? Tough times will happen, So people will go above it. And the reason why you can always bounce back and always go back up and always rise to the top is because you have mastered the psychology of how to make. And that's what you must do. If you are in 1, 2, 3, then you must ensure that when you hear that there's a course on how to create wealth, there is a course on introduction to wealth creation, there's the psychology of wealth creation, there's the laws of wealth creation. Those are the kind of things you need to gravitate to around this point, because you need to learn how to make. 1, 2, or 3, you are in the season of make. Then we go from 3, 4, and 5. And I wish I knew these are 20. Okay, because the journey will have been different, the passion will have been different, the push will have been different. I probably will have been making sure that, okay, good, this is the stage I am. I will be clear about where I am and be clear about where I'm working. I can see someone says I'm in step 1. Adewale Adeloye, I can see you on Facebook on step 1. I can see Olafumi Akinriola who says I'm following, and I can see all of you on the Zoom group as well. Well done for indicating exactly where you are. Okay, so let's keep going on this. What exactly is step 4? Step 4 is I minus E equals C. It means I have gone for the class, I've gained financial intelligence, I've learned how to increase my income. There's a significant difference between my income and my expense, and the balance I have left is my cash flow. And that cash flow, I already understand how cash flow should be. I have an escrow. What is an escrow? An escrow, for the sake of this class and this definition, is an account where I am able to keep my cash flow with rules. I am making money, I am spending money, and I have rules that govern my excess. And those rules require maybe a coach, maybe a third party, maybe a wife that is extremely disciplined, maybe a husband that is disciplined, maybe an accountability partner that ensures that when money goes into this escrow or vault, the only way that money comes out of it is if it follows some particular rules. It means money is not going to come here to service anybody's emergency. Money is not going to come out from here to service other expenses. Money will only move from here into creating assets, either into creating assets or into capital gain. Okay, and the only way you can live from step 4 is step 5. If you are already living this way, you understand how escrows work, you have an escrow set up, and you have an account that you are remitting and putting cash flow for your business, for capital gains, for something that you must sell, for something that must grow. If you're already living this way, you are on step 4. And if you're in the house today and you're on step 4, type in that window 4. It means I am already having income is exceeding my expense, and I am having a positive cash flow that I am reserving. Ladies and gentlemen, once you begin to live this way, this your positive cash flow that you are reserving and using to create external order value for capital gains will inspire you in whatever business you are doing to also earn more. In the psychology of wealth creation, what we call in introduction to wealth creation, one of the ways to increase your income is to begin to save. Okay, because when you begin to save, there's an alignment between your savings and your confession. And what you are saying, what you are doing, and the fact that you're able to keep something aside is aligning, making you more powerful in acquiring, in making more money, in earning more. So step 1 to 3 is make. Step 3, 4 to 6 is manage. Step 4 to 6 is manage. Okay, so step 4 is I have my cash flow, I am accruing it, I already understand the rules, I have money governed by rules. I'm either involved in a cooperative, I'm involved in an adjust system where I'm not using the adjust to do my expenses. The rule governing my adjust is when money comes out from here, this is the asset is servicing, this is the capital gains project I'm logging into. I minus E equals C. If you are doing business, your C can go back into buying stock. Why? Because when you move from 4, you go to 5. Now, 5 is where I have been saving consistently for the last 24 months. I've been saving consistently for the past 48 months. I have been doing this. So it's not only saving that goes into 5. 5 is I've been saving. 5 is I am building stock. I'm gaining more value. So I'm using the cash flow I have to buy stock of something I can trade and gain more value. What I have as my current asset base is increasing. Now, the journey to assets is not a straight dash. Okay, it is bridged by capital gains. I must be able to put my capital away consistently and find opportunities, find deals still in the realm of business that can allow my capital to grow. So, for example, today I'm doing a business where on a monthly basis I need to buy products. Now, the beauty of that is what is it helping me to do? It's helping me use my cash flow to stock up. I'm stocking up on my cash flow. And what do I do with that? I sell it. And as I sell it, I give away some, I sell some. As I'm selling it, I am rebuilding my cash to ensure that I have more capital than I began with. There are businesses in this Nigeria that I know of that started with as low as 20,000 naira. And today, by virtue of using their C and taking their C and using it and growing it, they've grown into 10 billion naira companies. I'm not kidding you. Okay. Now, one of the things you need to master if you want to run business and run it very well is how to move from 4 to 5. How to ensure that the results you are creating is creating assets. I can tell you different organizations that practice this internal principle at this level is called manage. Manage. Okay. Once your C is being created, you need to put it in an escrow and then begin to be consistent about ensuring that you are looking at that capital is adding value, and it becomes sizable enough to be able to take advantage of some deals. There are some deals you can't take if all you have in your account is 100,000 naira. There are some opportunities you will not even hear about if your bank balance is 1 million naira. The moment your capital begins to aggregate and begins to make sense, you will begin to get into the here shot of opportunities that begin to make sense that way. I tell people there's a particular part of the human brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. Now, this reticular activating system basically instructs your eyes. It tells your eyes what to pay attention to. Many of us have seen many things today that we have not registered, that has not registered in our mind because our eyes did not consider them important. Your eyes call your attention to what you should call important. Okay, so today your colleague was wearing a purple dress, you didn't notice. Today your purple was wearing a green scarf, you didn't notice. Today your colleague was wearing a black pants, you didn't notice the color. Why? Because if your eyes saw everything that your eyes saw, your brain will shut down. Your eyes has capacity to draw in a lot more data that your brain wants to process. So we have the reticular system basically saying gloss over everything, randomize, analyze, summarize everything, pay attention to only what is important to your future, to your goals, to your dreams, to your aspirations. Now, because this is the mechanism how the brain works, you need to have some money to begin to consider some things. If you don't have enough money for it, trust me, it will not surface in your RAS. And if you are contained within yourself, I have not expanded yourself within yourself to see the power of leverage. There are things that will regularly miss you. So step 5 is where you are beginning to aggregate and aggregate. So say, how about a case of I minus E, I is less than E, but I have an escrow? Is that possible at all? That doesn't make any sense. That means you are just trying to keep up an appearance. If your I is less than your E, it means you are racking up debts, you are racking up savings. If you add them together, you know your real position. Okay, sorry for going into question and answer prematurely. So level 5 is where I am doing capital gains. I'm putting the money aside. I am trading in. I can buy land. I can buy property that will make sense to some particular class of people. I can put my money down there to help some people do their survey, get free land from there, sell it, increase my capital. I can buy more stock of the product I'm driving. I'm in level 5. If you're in the house today and you are in level 5, type in that window 5. Okay. Now, after level 5, we'll go into assets. And this is where your capital begins to make sense. Yesterday, I told us about what I call money abuse. Is sending money that is too small on errand. Okay. I don't want you to have money abuse. I don't want you to send money that is too small on errand. I want you to send money that is big enough on errand. Money that is not big enough, work with it. Let the money have the pleasure of your company. Okay. I tell people, why are we so much in a hurry to give somebody else our 1 million naira? That 1 million naira, don't you have anything you can do with it? Don't you have anything you can do with it? Can't you create a solution? Can't you find something you can solve? Somebody did foam for washing plates and made $10 million from the foam for washing plates. Okay? How much did it take him to start that business? What's the capital required? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get off our butts and learn the psychology of wealth creation, learn how to create wealth, learn how to make things, learn how to make and create value that you can use to create more wealth. That's step 1 to 3. Step 4 to 6, learn how to manage. Once you learn how to manage and are able to put the resources together, the next thing you want to do is you want to buy assets. You want to involve yourself in assets. Now, I shared with you that there are 5 classes of assets, 5 categories of assets, and I'm going to run through them very quickly. It looks like this is where the class wants to end today, but you know your level and you know what you must do. Now, in all of these 5 assets classes, by God's grace today, I am playing in them. And I'm not a superhuman, okay? I am normal like you. 12 years ago, I discovered that I've worked for 5 years plus 6 years. I'd worked for 6 years. I'd earned phenomenally well. My starting salary was very good. I'd watched my starting salary multiply by more than 10 within my career life of about 5 years. And guess what? Even after I'd worked that well, I was young. I was young. I wasn't old. I'd done all my working career. By 29, I was ready to leave my paid employment. I'd done all of this, and I wasn't womanizing. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't spending on bad habits, but I had nothing in my asset column. I had earned, I had spent, I had tried to do some investments, I had tried to run some businesses, I had tried to venture into a few places. But I looked at my life and I asked myself, after I had done all of that in my early 30s, what do I have? What do I have that can generate passive income? What have I built towards financial freedom? Nothing. So I started my journey then. And if I started my journey then and it hasn't been bad, then you can start your journey as well. Some people look at me today and wonder, this business is what you're doing. No, I'm doing business, not because I have to. I'm doing business because I see business beyond just business. I see business as a missionary opportunity to interact with people, to reach people, to love people, to help people, to make new friends and have family. That's why I do business. And that's why I'm doing the kind of business I'm doing, because it allows me and affords me the opportunity to connect with people, to meet people, to love people, to share life with people, to have impact on people, to make a difference in people's lives. 5 assets. I'll explain them very quickly. Number one, and I'll tell you their demerits and their merits. Number one asset category is real estate. I'm sure you know about that. Real estate came from the root word royal. The real word there is royal estate. And it was royal estate, royal estate, royal estate. Land belongs to the king, land belongs to the queen. Royalty is the owner of land in every country. Go and check it correctly. The land you have, averagely in most countries, was leased to you. The only countries where you have freehold are few. And by God's grace, we have, and I say we, I talk about myself and my family and my wife, we have some property that is freehold. But in most countries of the world, the property is 100 years lease. It means the land doesn't belong to you. It was leased to you to operate and use for 100 years. It belongs to the government. Royal estate. Okay. And what do you do with real estate? What you do with real estate is when you're earning passive income from real estate is when you are able to generate rent. So the passive income you earn from real estate is rent. And ladies and gentlemen, the percentage of rent everywhere around the world is averagely around the benchmark of 5%. It means sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but somewhere around that 5% is where you find it. Sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 2%. There's a property I got invested in some years back. It's about 7 years ago now. The property gives average rental income on that property is roughly about, today it has come to about 8%. But back when the money was invested, it was about 3%. The reason why it has become 8% is because of Nigerian exchange rates. The exchange rates, Nigerian currency is low now because the investment is not within these shores. It makes the money more valuable here today. So assets, you want to build assets. You want to have real estate you're not living in that is fetching you rental income. And you want to do that a number of times. You want to do that a number of times. You don't want to have one property. You want to do this well. You want to be able to build. And let me tell you, the journey from 5 to 6 to 7 is not a one way. It's not one chance. In that direction, it goes forward and backward. It goes forward and backward. I didn't keep the backward there because I have the opportunity to explain it. So real estate, I can buy real estate. I can be generating passive income from real estate. I can hold the real estate for a while and sell it for capital gains. When I sell my asset for capital gains, I move back from step 6 to step 5. But one asset is real estate. I get a building, I get a set of buildings, I get a manager to manage the buildings, and I get rent from it. Asset 1. Asset number 2, paper investments. I invest in stocks. I invest in bonds. I invest in treasury bills. I invest in, with a cooperative. I invest with an investment house. I invest with somebody who wants to basically collect the money from me as debt or even as equity. Whatever investment I do this way, now what I have is an agreement, a document, a sheet of paper we have classified as paper investments. The return on this is technically around 2%, 5%. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's promising you heaven on earth, it is because it is time bound. Okay? If you do your mathematics, open an Excel sheet, spread it out for 25 years, and tell yourself, if I am earning this thing that they are giving me here for 25 years, how rich will I be? If the value you get in 25 years makes you the richest man in the world, you can know guaranteed that system is going to break down. It will not work. Averagely, if you put shares, if you buy shares, Nestle shares have been phenomenal through the years. If you buy, and you can buy foreign stocks, you can buy in this particular spaces where you get a share paper, you can buy cryptocurrency and buy and hold and lock it up there for years. What you will get from here, average place where you have sustainable lifelong time returns, will give you somewhere between 2 and 5%. It means for you to generate ₦1,000,000 per month, you will need to have, if you're doing ₦1,000,000 per month, that means it's ₦12,000,000 per year. If ₦12,000,000 per year is 5% of the value you are holding, then it means you have ₦240 million. Okay, I hope you're following me. If you're here today and you're following me and it's making sense to you, just type yes. So tell me you're following. So it sound like I'm beginning to sound like a university lecturer. Are you here? You see, are you getting it? Is it making sense? Okay, good. Good. Okay, excellent. Okay, good. So I need to know these assets. I need to be involved in these assets. I need to participate in these assets. I need to understand what these assets are. So one, real estate is a 100-year lease in most places. It means it will last for 100 years. You can give it to your children and maybe to your children's children. That's where it ends. Another government will come who will ask them to come and regularize. Most of the land that you buy in Nigeria, most of the properties that you buy in Nigeria, take it from me. When you go and check, you realize maybe there's 60 years to go, or maybe there's 40 years to go, depending on who you buy it from. It's a lease from the government. At the time will come when you need to regularize it, and you may need to pay much more than was paid when it was acquired. I have a mentor who bought a plot of land for less than 5 million naira, and when he needed to regularize it, because the land first of all belonged to the federal government, it now belongs to the state government, because the federal government had allocated and left some land for the state government. By the time he wanted to go and reclassify it, it was paying over 50 million. That happens with real estate. But real estate is amazing. You want to have like 12 houses, have one house that is due every month, so they can collect 1 million naira rent from here, 1 million naira rent from here, 1 million naira from there, and be free. For stocks and bonds, many of us have earned dividends before. If you have earned dividend in the house, your dividend values will range from 100 naira, 50 kobo, 22 naira, 13 naira, 14 naira, peasant, or pittance, essentially, as dividend. Why? Because what we invested is not much. There are people who earn dividends in tens of millions, hundreds of millions. And why? Because what they put there is substantial. Their investments make sense. If you're here in the house and you have earned dividend before, and the dividend you have earned cannot take you to where you go and collect the money, just type 111. Type 111 in the window and say, type 111. Let the person who is listening to this realize that, yes, I've earned dividend before, that the transport money that I will use to go and collect the dividend was more than a dividend. Yes, haven't we all? But nonetheless, paper investments are good, because if you have built your capital, many of us we loop step 5 and we move from step 4 to step 6, and then we put 10,000 naira inside the shares and we are getting 10 kobo. There's nothing to complain about. There are people who put hundreds of millions there. They are fetching money that can take care of them in their retirement. That's an asset. Paper investments. And please be watchful. Be watchful of when the interest is too much. It means it will not be sustained. Do an Excel sheet calculation. If you need a calculator, when we form other groups and we get body, I will share a small calculator with you that you can insert any amount they're asking you for, and the interest they're giving you, and then you can stretch it over a few years and see what you have. If you're the richest man in Nigeria, know that investment will not last that long, because you will not become the richest man in Nigeria because you invested with somebody who is not the richest man in Nigeria. Okay, it's very simple like that. So number 2 assets is paper investment. Number 3 is what we call automated businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, it's either you are buying real estate, which will cost you about 35 million naira to lock a good one down in the very good land. If you're going to do 12, you're talking about 400, 500 million naira, which you don't have, and it will take you how many years to save? If you're saving 1 million naira per month, it will take you 5 years to save 60 million. So you know that real estate cannot be a starting point. You need the same value to do paper investment. It cannot be a starting point. Your starting point is one of these 3, most likely. One of these 3 I'm about to describe is likely where you're going to start. I started from these 3. So pay attention. So number 3 is automated business. It means I take a business, I start a business, I build a business, and I ensure that this business can outlive me. I put systems in the business to ensure that even if I'm not around, this business can run without me. Ladies and gentlemen, even this is difficult. I tell people, how many businesses do you know in Nigeria that the owner has left it and is still growing. There are some of them, there are not many. We are still very much in the phases in our country where succession, the test of succession, it will take time to know. Okay, I jokingly say the MD of GT Bank left, Fola Adeola, but he left there Tayo Aderonkun, who left there Segun Agbaje. But if you know the story, the three of them were together when the bank started. Any of the three of them could have been the MD. So the first generation has not left GT Bank, in my opinion. Oh, what about Zenith Bank? Jimovia has left. Yes, Jimovia has left and is now on a floor in the same building, in the penthouse above the building, and he still has access to the MD and has access to the details. Yes, he has gone, but there's still a lot of influence to ensure that the second generation, that succeeds can survive, is still there to support them. There are not many businesses in our climb that have had the opportunity of having complete succession and have remained automated. Am I saying it's not going to happen? It's happening. There are not many. Okay, there are a few companies. I can mention a few names as well. But guess what? I'm just showing you that it is work. It takes a lot of work to build, create a system around it, and ensure that it can be handed over to a next generation of managers, of staff, of people that can take it to the next level. Many companies in Nigeria that are Nigerian-owned companies, that are PLCs, that are public and second generation are managing, are not many. Even in the small category, number of companies in the Nigerian Stock Exchange of future companies, so to speak, that are there in the SME category planning to grow to that size are not many. But automated business is one sure vehicle you can build automated business. Build it, put an auditor there, put an external auditor, put the systems in place, ensure it can run without you. You can begin to earn director's bonus. The passive income from there only happens when you have resigned from it, stepped away completely from it, and director's bonus is still coming. Oh, I have no doubts that Mr. Fola Adeola should be earning passive income from GT Bank now. Okay, and there are a few organizations that are being able to do that as well. Automated business. Now, it's on the dot of the time of 7. If you want us to continue for a few more minutes and see if we can close this, I would like a response that says to me, let's go on. Let's go on. If you want me to go on for about 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, just say, let's go on, so that I can have your permission to go on. I want to stay within time. Okay, let's go on. Okay, please, let's go on. Okay, good, continue. Okay, good, so I'll continue. Thank you very much. So that's number 3, automated business. Number 4 is called royalty. Okay, royalty. And this you earn from, the passive income you earn is royalty. The system is called intellectual property. So number 4 is intellectual property. It means use your intellect and the value of your intellect to create a solution that can become marketable. Create a solution that you don't have to be the one selling. You create a system that sells and you can earn passive income from it. And there are tons of examples. An example will be a book. So I have with me here a book by Don Feiler. This book, I have here 4.5 million copies in 24 languages. 4.5 million copies in 24 languages. I am sure he's not selling it himself. He has sold enough. If he's earning a royalty of $1 per book, this is $4.5 million you're looking at here. I have here 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. As of the time when I bought my own, 15 million copies sold. Okay, if he's earning $1 per book as his royalty, that's $15 million as royalty. If you want to know what that means in Naira, multiply by 500, it gives you 7.5 billion. Now, if he's not selling the book himself, then he has a system and a publisher who has put the system around it and is selling it. It's like an automated business as well. If he has built to the level where he can go on his own, guess what's going on? He is earning passive income. Okay, so somebody sang a song. Michael Jackson is still earning royalties from his songs. I discovered something very interesting lately. Bob Marley. How many of us know Bob Marley? If you are here, you know Bob Marley. Of course, you know Bob Marley. I realized that Bob Marley was dead before I was born. I know Bob Marley. I listened to Bob Marley. There was a lot of Bob Marley song playing in my house. Sun shall not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. It was buzzing on our recorder in my house. I heard Bob Marley had died before I was born. I was discussing with my daughter lately. My daughter, I and my daughter were discussing, and I asked my daughter, "Do you know Bruce Lee?" I said, "Who would not know Bruce Lee?" My daughter knows Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee had died before I was born. Bruce Lee had died, and I'm over 4 decades old. Bruce Lee gone, but Bruce Lee is still generating royalty for somebody. If a system in place, Bruce Lee. There's a movie I just did last year on Bruce Lee, the story of Bruce Lee. I watched it with my daughter and my son. So say, you know Bruce Lee, so let's watch Bruce Lee. Let me show you where it's coming from. It's called royalty. If you have intellectual property and you're able to create value that can become marketed and people can drive and sell, you can earn royalty. That's number 4. Number 5, I hope you're following. Number 5 is network marketing. And listen, all of these things don't generate passive income for you when you are the one actively driving them. You generate passive income if you can build in such a way that you can build and leave the scene, have a system that continues to drive the value, and then you earn the passive income. If you get involved in network marketing, not to sell products, not to be running around and infuriating your friends by signing them up and leaving them without support. If you build properly and you come on board with the Don Feiler model of building an organization. Now, it's building an organization, building a big organization. It's about ensuring that you can have your own shop rights in size by virtue of the organization that you have built, you have invested in. You invest in it. Anything that's going to become something that will give you value, you must invest in building a system. It takes about 5 years to build a system in network marketing that can survive without you. 5 to 7 years. If you give it commitment, and not commitment to selling and hawking, commitment to building an organization. If you build that way, you can build a system that in 5 years will be solid and be yielding you passive income that can last for the rest of your life. Now, let me break it down for you. There are 5 vehicles, 5 known channels by which you can create passive income. Capital gains, there are hundreds of ways to create capital gains. And when we come for the class of management, when we're doing the class, there's a class of make, there's a class of manage, and there's a class of multiply. Okay, we'll be able to extend into, I'm just giving you a little bit of tidbits about each of these key segments. There's make class, there's manage class, there's multiply class. Okay, and these are some of the things we'll talk about in detail in subsequent future classes when we have them. Now, listen to me. In this manage class, you need to understand the asset classes. You need to play in all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to build real estate. You need to get paper investments. You need to build automated businesses. You need to do royalty, intellectual property, okay? And you need to have a network marketing organization that you're building. If you don't do 5, do 3, do some. But I tell you, the capital requirements of the first 3 is humongous. The reason why I encourage people to say start from now, what do you need for real estate? High capital. What do you need for paper investment? High capital. And intelligence. There's an intelligence you need for each of these areas because they have their demerits. If you are running around doing your own estate management yourself, collecting the rent and hawk and basically hanging around your tenants and put them under pressure, you are running a business. Paper investments. If you invest in Okomo oil and then you are reading newspaper and studying newspaper to find out when it's rise, when to get low, when you buy low, when it's high, you're both, blah, blah, blah. You're trading. It's a business. That's trading. If you're invested in automated business and you are still running the business, showing up and managing processes, getting calls, you are running a business. You're still in the business, not passive income yet. If you are singing a song and your song, you need to sing it yourself, or you crack your joke before people will buy your CD, you are the one selling. You are the CEO of the marketing company. You are still in a business. It's not yet passive income. If you are still actively involved in network marketing, you are still running around getting people, sign on 50 people this year, they have left next year, you sign on fresh people, and you're driving like that, and you're earning fantastic money, no matter how fantastic it is still active income. I tell people, if you want to start, the easiest place for you to start is with network marketing. Why? Because for intellectual property, you need star power. You need some level of star power to be able to sell enough of your products in the initial. It is when the initial set of people have read the book and then they begin to make their referrals, or they listen to the song and they begin to make their referrals and it begins to grow. That's when it begins to give you money. If it's like a song, every artist who has I've tried to market people before who are making songs, you need to go to a radio station, plead with them to give you airplay, because nobody's going to like a song they don't heard. So you must allow, you will spend money, you will spend energy, you will go from radio station to radio station like a midday prostitute, looking for people to play your song until it has enough airplay and it begins to grow on people. That's how songs work. It must grow on people. Thank God for YouTube and the fact that you can advertise your song on YouTube and spend the money on YouTube yourself for it to gain popularity. But for the radio stations, not only do you need to pay them, you probably need to beg them and say, please, give me a time. Let them be hearing my song. Let them be hearing holla at your boy. If you're going to go back, before people became made, the things that they went through. Okay, so you need some level of star power to be able to generate value that way. So guess what? You need to have a network. You need to know people. You need to have built relationships. So I tell people, for 95% of the people that I ever get to meet, the chance that they have that they can use to build anything significant in 5 years is a properly built network marketing organization system. And I speak well of all networks. I speak well and I say, look, everywhere is fantastic. If they have a product that is real, if they have team members that are willing to support, if their products are more valuable than the cash you pay for them, they're good to go. If they don't have anything tangible that you can lay your hands on, you may have problems in this climb because it will not be sustained in this climb. I've been there, I've done that, I bought the t-shirt. But if you have what the Igbos call fafuraya, what my hands can see, what my eyes can behold, and the products are valuable, they work, and they are more valuable than the cash that you pay, meaning you're not losing out from day one, then it's something you can consider. But the most important thing there is not the products, it's not the company. The most important thing there is what opportunities do you have for your development? Because in building a deep and big organization, you will need to become a different person to be able to achieve it. The person you are today cannot handle the world that you dream of. You will need to shift, change, become better to be able to do that. But guess what? Play in all five. I started from this one, from network marketing. I started also with intellectual property. I wrote my first book in 2002, 18 years ago. And I sold out on the 1,000 copies. And then I printed 1,000 more. And then I sold out. And then I printed 1,000 more. But guess what? It wasn't passive income. I was the one selling it myself. People still ask me, that's your book. But I haven't built a system around it. And then, of course, automated business. I got involved in business. It's not automated yet. And I'm still young. So probably not going to be automated. I feel that I'm building to a point where, of course, I'm director, I'm a board member, I'm a chairman, I'm a whatever there. I'm not actively driving it. So yes, maybe I have a few automated businesses that I'm not paying attention to and I can still earn some yield from. Paper investments, I have a few. Some of them are forgetting them there and hoping for the day that they will make sense in dividend form. And I still get involved in a few things here and there that are like paper-based investments. And then real estate. I got involved in that too. But I made the money to do all of them from the one I started with. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to become financially free, what's step 6? And I saw that people stop dropping their numbers from step 4, step 3, step 2, step 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in 1, 2, 3, you need to make money. If you're in 4, 5, 6, you need to learn more to be able to manage and transit from one level to the other. Okay? And then once you have your assets and it begins to give you passive income, then you want to sometimes go back into asset category, exchange it for money, go back to step 5, increase your capital, do more assets. Go back, increase your capital, do more assets. Sell off the passive income you are getting for capital gains, buy more assets, get more capital gain, and continue to build until your passive income exceeds your expense and it becomes multiples of it. This is a basic process. Now, I hope that process makes some sense to you. If you are here today and you're listening to me, you need to take action. You need to do something. You need to identify where you are. You need to identify where you're going. Okay? If you know the number, what's the number of the place you're going? Please, somebody that is sharp, that understands what we're saying here, and you know the number of the step you must be, write down that number. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 7? Let me see the first 10 people to write down their numbers. Let me see your number. Good. Somebody says where you need to be, not where you are. Where you need to be. Where you need to be. 9 is where you need to be. 9. You need to be at 9. So when you fetch assets and your passive begins to earn passive income and it's not up to what you need, you are in 7. When your passive income exceeds your living expense, you are in 8. When your passive income becomes multiples of your living expense, you are in 9. Where you are going is 9. Financial freedom is at 9, step 9. Okay, and maybe this is something you need to print out, keep with you, mark where you are, track yourself. Like I said, when we have a fuller class one day soon, maybe a physical class, maybe an online class, we will break this down into, into direct, personal, up and personal. Where are you? What do you need to do? What are your next strategies? This is basically just to share the knowledge, make it available to more people, get the curiosity to be there so that you may want to learn more. I tell people, if you don't know that you don't know what you don't know, then you are ignorant and nobody can help you. One of my mentors used to say, ignorance of one's ignorance is the minimum qualification required for admission into the College of Fools. I'll say that again. Ignorance of one's ignorance is the minimum qualification required for admission into the College of Fools. If you don't know, and you don't know that you don't know, who can help you? So the purpose of this conversation is so that you may know that you don't know. And once you come into aware that you don't know, then you must become thirsty and hungry for, how can I get knowledge? What do I need to know? Okay, how can I learn this? You need mentorship. Okay, you can reach out. I represent the company as a company I drive. I support to drive. I'm not an active driver in the driver sense, but so I'm not signing up people directly as much as possible. But I support the team. I empower, I support, I train, I do a lot of value within the team. Join an organization, a network marketing organization that allows you to build in a way that makes you build an organization. So talk to the person that invited you and say, look, I want to know more. How can I be involved in what you're doing? So you need mentorship. Mentorship is available. You need books. Somebody asked me there, can you introduce us to books on finance? There are plenty of books. Personally, I've contributed Paradigms You Need to Shift. I've contributed Wealth, Introduction to Wealth Creation. I've contributed Creating Your Wealth Map. I've contributed Creating Your Wealth Map Workbook. I've contributed 4 books. Okay, there are other books. All the copies of books on Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, Retire Wrong, Retire Rich, Teach to Be Rich. Very fantastic books. There's a book by William Wallace, Science of Getting Rich, Science of Being Great, Science of Being Healthy. Read those books. There are books by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Success Laws. There are books, ladies and gentlemen. Don't even get me started. You can see my diary. You can see my library. Yeah, books. Even on the floor, books. Even by the other side, books. Up there, books. Up. Books. Can you see? Okay. Readers are leaders. I'm not decorating my shelf with them. I'm putting them there because I saw them, I liked them, I bought them, I wanted to read them, and I read some of them. I haven't read all of them. Okay, but here there are books here worth over. I don't even buy here. I travel out, I see the books, I enter a bookshop, all my dollars are finished. So you have books here worth well over 10 million naira. Books, read. Any book, any topic you're about, read. There's Christian literature, there's non-Christian literature, there's personal development literature, there's business literature, there's marketing literature, there's selling literature, there's literature in a variety of things. And guess what? There's Google. If you can't afford to buy, Google. Okay, there's Wikipedia, there's one book, there's Google, there are materials you can download, you can read. Read. Empty bags don't stand upright. Empty bags don't stand upright. You want to stand upright, you want to contain stuff, you need to develop yourself, you need to read. And I tell you, one of the easiest ways to develop yourself, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not kidding. You want to develop yourself, join a network marketing organization where training is crucial. You will learn, you will not believe it. And some of the things you will get for free. So what I'm saying is not for free. If I'm going to call you for my proper class, you will pay 500,000 naira. I'm not playing. But you can get value here because we become family, we become friends, we get people together, and then we want to do class. Okay, we have arrangements. There's a lot you will glean on. Without somebody told me that during the lockdown I was attending a course in a particular university and I was attending some of your trainings and I realized that your trainings were more valuable than the one I had paid for. Learn. Make up your mind, I want to learn. Finance is something you need to learn about. So today, what have we not covered? There are still 5 things I wish I knew we have not talked about. We talked about the economy is not true. We talked about what your true enemies are. We talked about how to build a map and how to build a map from where you are to where you want to be. We're going to talk about money, hard work, and those things, and savings are not it, and what it really is about. And we'll talk about that. And then introduction to wealth creation. You need to be in that course. For people in the network, we do the course. It's free of cash if you are in the Green Mondays network. If you are not, and your leader wants to organize your training, I'll charge you a little amount and do it for the group. But for Green Mondays, Green Community, we do it free of cash. We have a way of charging, it's free of cash. Okay. And then you have how to manage the discipline of wealth creation. That's management. And then we have 10x, how to multiply. 10x, I charge per hour for 10x. 10x, I don't do in a crowd, I do for specifics. 10x, because at that level, you're not going to be in a class. At that level, you're going to be able to come with your business the way I'm doing, and I want to multiply it. I want to multiply by 3, 5, 10, 10x. I want to generate passive income, 10x. So these are some of the things that we do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've shared today. I hope it's been valuable. I will allow us some time for question and answers.